And the room got quiet. Good morning, everybody, and welcome home to Rotary. I am so glad that you're all here with us today. What a wonderful day. So, can you feel the positive energy in here? Yes, I can. Yes, it's awesome. It's amazing. I love this group of people. All right, so as usual, today we'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance in the four-way test. We've got a virtue reading from Nathan and invocation from who is it? Teresa, thank you. So sorry about that. Sometimes I struggle with names. So Teresa's doing our invocation. We'll have club announcements, new member induction. Excited about our new members. Awesome. Fellowship, a dad joke, and Tim Murray. He's got a presentation planned for us. And I'm so delighted to share I was able to get the PowerPoint up today. So let's go ahead and start out with that Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. And now it is virtue time. Thank you.
Today we have decisiveness. Decisiveness is a firmness of mind in taking a stand or making a decision. It requires us to be both courageous and discerning. At times, the choice appears, and we must make it instantly without hesitation, prompted by a deep knowing that it is right and timely. Decisiveness can also call us to hold decision with patience, prayer, and deep contemplation. We seek a pure intent, which guides us to a conclusion we can trust. Then one day, we reach the bedrock of truth and know it is time to act. We move forward with resolve and confidence, being decisive. We are content and with our decisions and do not second guess ourselves. The timing of a good decision is just divine.
Kind of like decisiveness on when to order a new coffee roaster.
Blessing is tea time blessing. May our tea be steeped in serenity, sweetened by sharing and surrounded by the warmth of love.
Thank you. And that ties in with the work you do with the animal rescue side. The warmth of the love, like a pet. Love it. Thanks.
Yes, you're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. Okay, and let's see here. We've got club announcements now. Somebody came up to me before the meeting and was like, Kurt, I've got a club announcement and I even have something written out. We want to make sure it didn't miss. So Laura, let's hear this announcement.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so in 119 days, it'll be my turn to be president of our club. Grace, my first grader, some of you know, had a speaking part in the school presentation recently, and she wasn't sure if she could do it. And I was dropping her off at school and she's explaining butterflies to me. And I just told her that the feeling that you're feeling is called anxiety, and a little bit of anxiety is normal. That means that you really care about this part that you're going to play. Right? So I thought parent win, right? So as I'm preparing for my role as president, I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety, but mostly excitement. As president-elect, I've had ample support from our district and some of the members already in our group. So I just wanted to quickly say thank you to Kurt and to Natalie and David and Dick for your specific support that you've offered me, and to the rest of you who've given me encouraging words. I appreciate that. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be calling all of our current board members, and I'm going to be inviting you to continue in your role as the chair of whatever committee you're in charge of. Or if you feel the need to step away at this time, I want to talk to you about that. If you feel like you want a co-chair, I want to help you find one. If you need to rework your committee, I want to help you. And I want to offer you the same type of support to you that I've been receiving from the district and our other club members. So this is your notice. I'll be calling you. If you're sitting here today and you're feeling like you're just waiting for something to happen in Rotary, like you're kind of in the wings and just watching, I want to talk to you too. I want to find a spot for you to feel like you are more engaged in having a excellent Rotary experience. I want to know what you care about and I want to know what your talents are. And so I don't know what I don't know. So if you're somebody who's like, I want to do more, I want to be involved, you need to reach out to me because there's lots of people to talk to and I like to talk, so reach out. And the easiest way to reach out, quick tidbit, is the Club Runner app. If you don't have it, if you're a newer member and you don't know what the Club Runner app is on your phone, it has our entire club's mobile numbers and email addresses in it, so it makes connecting very, very easily. So talk to somebody at your table if you need to know about that. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I wrote it so that I didn't stumble, because otherwise I would ramble. But now on to something I didn't write. Our diversity committee and public image and community service, the last few years we've kind of gathered together and we have done, we've participated in the community's celebration of Eid, which according to my Google Calendar is coming up on Friday, April 21st. And so I'm looking for a group of people who want to participate again this year. Also, the Memorial Day Parade is going to be on Monday, May 29th, and the Heritage Days Parade is out in June 17th. And I know these things seem like they're far away, but it's really not that far. So I'm going to help get those things organized, probably with David's help and Nick's help and everybody who's worked on this in the past. So just throwing it out there today. So if you're interested in celebrating Eid with some of our community members, let us know, or parades are fun. We hand out flags or candy, or we'll figure that out, but it's a good time, and it really is one of those extra things that builds the fellowship in the club when you're doing some of these fun activities. So that was a lot of announcements, I'm sorry, but there you go.
You're doing awesome, and I think you want to start early, President. Give you a couple of months. Okay. That's excellent. Thank you so much, Laura. I really appreciate hearing all of that. Looks like David started to raise his hand. He's got announcements and. Pastor Greg. There you go, sir.
I've been doing the community service chairmanship for a couple of years now, and I was having breakfast with Mark Kenny. He can't be here unfortunately, and I was telling him, I'm like, I kind of feel like the guy that always stands up and says annoying things, like sign up for this, please. So good. But we do have a blood drive coming up on March 13th at River Valley Church. I have a couple other spots for people that sign up. Basically, we're covered. But this is a really good opportunity to get to know other fellow Rotarians. Got a little bit behind on the scheduling. Unfortunately, friends, sign up if you haven't in a while to get blood for that day, so we can fill the roster. I'm going to start this over here and let it go around. So that's what I got. Thank you very much.
Now, this time of year, I always get so excited for spring, and like I've been saying lately, it's like you can start to feel it in the air. And see David in short sleeves, it's like, yes, he knows spring is right around the corner. So, Brother Greg.
Just wanted to take a moment to share my excitement about the conclusion of the Strive program and the banquet that's coming up this Sunday. We put in a reservation for 105 people, and we have 107 coming. And that's a tremendous outpouring of participation. So if you wanted to come and you didn't RSVP, I'm sorry, I can't offer you any encouragement. I've never done that in my life before. But I am ruled by a higher authority and she's not here. Well, we did have a wonderful session of judging. We received 34 applications from students. We had 34 students in the program. We had 34 applications that were complete. And we had a wonderful session, and we were able to award 12 scholarships to those students, totaling just under $16,000 worth of money. And $50 for every one of those folks who completed the program. And it was really exciting, and we sort of made a commitment that we were going to award at least one scholarship to a minority student in all of our. But the good news was several minority students earned it without any kind of special consideration. It was just really exciting to see that result. So anyway, a lot of good things are happening. Sunday will be the banquet.
Thank you very much. Any other club announcements? No? Okay, all right, so we've got some new members to be inducted to the club, so Dr. Keith, like to come up?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, President Kurt. We'll invite up our new members, and we'll also invite up Brandon and Dr. Houston. All right, it's good to have a full house up here. It's exciting. So fellow Rotarians, it's a joy to add new members, so we can continue to make a difference tangibly here locally and around the world. And today we welcome Catherine and we welcome Ibrahim. You have a chosen membership in the Rotary Club of Faribault because your fellow members believe you are a leader in your profession, and because you manifest virtues which fit the overall theme of Rotary, which is service above self. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster this ideal of service, and in particular, to promote, number one, development of new relationships in the club, leading to new or better service opportunities with Mr. Connolly, of course, and these are meant to be fun. Number two, we strive to have high ethical standards in business and profession, understanding the ability we have to serve society through our unique professional talents. And number three, the application of service above self in personal and community life. Number four, let's say this, but Mr. Houston's favorite is the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace brought about by serving alongside those across the globe. We charge you to judge yourself by the Rotary 4-way test of the things you think and say and do. So first, as you can see over here, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Let us inspire and encourage one another through Rotary to become a more virtuous people, and we can inspire as a team while having fun. I'd ask all members to please rise. And non-members, everybody rise. The name of the Rotary Club of Faribault, and now formally induct people into our club. Welcome. You may be seated. These are kind of fun little things. You have the 4-way test on coin, which is great. You can keep it in your pocket as a wonderful reminder. And then we also have these lovely pins to wear as well. They're just great conversation pieces. People will ask you, hey, what's the pin all about? And then you can tell them all about our wonderful Rotary Club here. And last, but certainly not least, we have these wonderful frame certificates of membership. So one more time, let's welcome our new members.
Now's the time for the secret handshake, right?
Bring it on the secret handshake, but don't follow. We might just do one club meeting that's all practicing the secret handshake. Okay, so.
Okay, now you guys leave, she stays.
This is the best part about the members sections. Watching Marie work this school.
Okay, thank you. You should have a dad joke or something.
Well, yeah, I don't want anybody to miss out on that, so. Sorry.
No photo money. Okay, you guys stay there. It's on for the website. All right, thank you.
Hey. I just wanted to share this with everybody. I was in Waseca on Monday presenting to first graders with the Junior Achievement Program. I know that we've had Vanessa come and talk to us about that, and our opportunities available here. Well, it's a blast. And so when I got started visiting with these first graders, somehow age came up, and I said, let's play a game. Let's go around and see what everybody guesses for my age. And so here, we've got 64, 54, 50, 98, 74, 62, 40, 25, my favorite, and then 55. And so Nora was the closest with 40, and 42 is my age. And so, but that was a lot of fun to see how first graders viewed me for age. And it was their 100th day of school, and so the teacher said the students were able to bring 100 of something to school. And so I brought 100 pennies in a little piggy bank, and so I gave Nora those 100 pennies, and she thought that was pretty cool. So, and I thought Michael was pretty cool. Yes, I was 25. I was like, you put this 25. So, all right, fellowship. Yes, David.
Real quick, did you learn any first grade lingo while you were there?
No, they kept that pretty tight-lipped. They're like, he's an outsider. Don't teach him any new slang. He'll ruin it for us. Now, Keith, are you fellowship today? You are fellowship. So let me turn it over to Keith. There you go.
Hey, thanks, this is exciting. Double dipping today. Okay, so for birthdays, anniversaries, I know that Dr. Houston had a birthday 2 days ago, correct? Which that's a big deal. I don't know if you know that. That's a big deal. And also Mr. Pruka and Mr. Cook had birthdays as well the last couple days, so we should sing, right? Who can, yeah, you start us out, please.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You know, right?
Also 25 years old, yep. Perfect, so today, I felt like it's kind of the day of new beginnings today, it's March 1st, spring is around the corner, so. If you have any spring stories, or like Laura, like hopefulness based on wearing a kind of sandal type shoe, feel free to share the stories today, so we'll start at this table here.
$2 for all the birthdays, and then to echo the excitement for spring. It's kind of funny, I have just finishing up hockey on these two, and I get a total of about 4 days off and start hockey next week. Happy spring call.
Happy spring, live that life, it's exciting.
Either one. So I got a couple of dollars there. I'll join the new beginning idea. Good job. So I'm still at Lions Bank. I got a promotion and I'm moving over and I'm gonna be managing our teller area. So I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited. And then I guess it's kind of a thing for me that I'm going on vacation next week. I'm going to Arizona. I've been there. Super excited for some sunshine and some new adventures. So. Awesome.
Those are good things. Awesome. Yeah,
Just happy to be here.
we're happy to have you here. Okay.
It's been MIA for a while, part of the training, I'm on, and it's successfully trying to become a hero. Wow, it's a good part. But, yeah, I've been going around my neighborhood with my loaded backpack on, and it's really hard to see for elevation when it's right to my advantage. So we were 6.5 days up, a day and a half down. Everyone in that group would have a successful summit.
It was particularly challenging, just in general, because of climbing the mountain, but also, luggage did not arrive. About a week later, we got our luggage, when we were on the mountain, and all my stomach gear was stolen, so it was probably been it should have been for me, but, overall, it was just a fantastic trip, and then we did a week in safari afterwards, so that's right, incredibly nice.
Good for you with that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's good. Yeah, so.
Here is for the birthdays. Excuse me, and I did see a robin this weekend, so. It's coming.
Birthdays especially. You know, I think a lot of us go, personally, I wouldn't be at my job. I have my current job if it wasn't for Mr. Houston. And a lot of us wouldn't be at Rotary if it wasn't for Mr. Houston, so. Thank you.
Mike, no? Not
yet.
Not ever. All right, central table.
Folks, this is the table of this. She was hard to be here today. I've got $1 for her as a new member. I got $1 for her as a new member. And talking to him, we decided that he wants to go skydiving. Okay? And so we put that out to the club, and Erie thinks that we should have a skydiving event. And so we thinking about that. Sometime in June or July, we're all gonna go to Walden, Wisconsin, and jump on the marathon. So
And the rest of us will stand on the ground and watch you.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. You don't have a lot of film. $100, I started a GoFundMe page for Murray. See if we can get some decent clothes.
Rebuttal? Check your parachute. It's good, okay. On the table. Mr. Wickstrom?
It's a good thing you said, Mr.
Yeah.
New members, congratulating the nominees. Whoops. Yeah, and, here's the $5. I plan on being on the radio this week and tomorrow. Gordy Costco. You want to listen, we're going to tail end of my discussion and the full discussion about the economy. You want to be bored, now you guys also be working someplace, so you don't have time to do this. So anyway, I'm going to be on the radio, if you like. 9:30, 9:30.
All right.
Is there an age limit?
All right, and I'll throw some money in. It's my son's 16th birthday today, so that is exciting, and we'll see at 3 o'clock if you have another crazy driver on the road or not.
We're ready.
Yeah.
I have it done.
President Kirk?
Thank you, and I'll put an IOU in there for my springtime story, but I just wanna say about Carson, he's such a mature young man. And it's always so nice when I get the opportunity to run into him, and I can't remember exactly what the scenario was, you know, that quote, Maya Angelou, people remember the way it make you feel, right? So I can't remember the exact scenario, but I had laid one really lame dad joke on him, and he gave me such a great courtesy laugh, like, and I thank you for that. So my springtime story is when I found my ambulance. It was in a little town called Kiel, Wisconsin, which is kind of south of Green Bay. And it had been sitting in a garage for over 10 years. And I went out to look at it in one of the coldest days in January. And as soon as I saw them turn on the flashing red light, I was like, sold, I gotta have that. And so I was gonna go out to get it on St. Patrick's Day in 2012. And didn't exactly have a solid plan on how to get it home. So initially there was somebody that's gonna transport it for me, then that fell through. And then I was just like, I'll drive it. You know, what could go wrong? And then my parents heard about that. My dad talked to a friend that's a farmer, and he's like, I've got a 3/4 ton truck and a 20-foot trailer. I'll loan it to Kurt, and so that's what we ended up doing. And so St. Patrick's Day, the weather could be anything. It was 70 degrees and it was perfect. And I just remember pulling that dusty, dirty old car out of the garage and putting it on the trailer, but I was grinning from ear to ear. So can't believe that's been 11 years ago. Wow. Wow. So, okay, dad joke time. This is from our friend Sue. Oh, it's missing the first, where do bad rainbows go? Prism. It's a light set. I don't know where my setup went, but, oh, there it is. Yeah, so that's, you can thank Sue next time you see her. So, all right, Tim, follow that. All right, so let's welcome Tim to the stage.
There you go. Super, thank you. Thanks for the invite. Murray asked me to come and present. This is a park down by the Viaduct Bridge, right next to Crooked Pine. And I'm gonna start out first with just a little background because this has been literally years in the making to get us where we are today. These are the steps for the development of this park, and the first 5 were actually completed with, although the final 2 are probably a much more uphill battle, but it entailed adopting the downtown master plan, which this is just one piece of, but I feel certainly a very important piece. Assembling property, putting together and working with a planning task force, adopting a concept plan, and we just recently completed schematic design with the help of some design professionals. And now looking forward to going into final design, figuring out how to pay for everything, and then building it. And then, of course, I guess step 8 would be opening it to the public and operating it. I'll try to quickly, because this is really just background, but the downtown master plan that the city went through the process, a lot of public input. We had a steering committee, which you probably recognize all of the names. But that was adopted, over 3 years ago, almost 3.5 years ago, okay, and put in place a lot of things that have happened. But it was a very big effort, and really, I think, came out with a nice product. And from a government employee, I guess one of the things that is satisfying for me is this, because governments are notorious for adopting plans and then they go sit on a shelf. This one is absolutely not sat on the shelf. So, this is the park area, and obviously this is the area of the actual park, but the downtown master plan covers really the whole downtown. This was just this section of it, and you can see there are future plans. And again, plans sometimes have to even go across the river. But right now, this project is the number 8, 6, 9, 11, 2 area. But also, and I said stuff that's been implemented. This is actually the north end of downtown, where hopefully some of you or all of you have been there and enjoyed the new Fleckenstein Bluffs Park that opened. That's the north part of this. And where a couple of number 1s are in the upper right corner, that's where the new Straight River Apartments building is on the former city garage site. So again, some of these things have already been implemented, and we continue to work on trying to implement other things. One of the things that came up during even the process is, hey, I own that. What are you going to condemn me? And the city doesn't do that. I mean, we haven't, at least in my 25 years here. Again, they're just plans, and it's when properties become available, which is something the city really has done. Personally, I like the fact that, like I said, where the Straight River apartment building is, and just for the record, it's 111 market rate units. And if you talk to any of our employers, major employers, housing is a huge need, and so the city's focused on that, but certainly put a lot of units on the market. It's actually was the second project completed downtown. There's a third one under construction out by the viaduct. But what I liked is the fact that we actually took property that was off the tax roll and put it back on the tax roll. I think that's an important thing for government to do. Something I'll be sharing actually with my partners or whatever I say with the county, as they have that nice piece of land downtown, and they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with that in the future. But I know I'm certainly an advocate for putting properties back on the tax roll when it makes sense. And this is actually south of the Viaduct Bridge, where the Viaduct Bridge would be on the top. And again, the city actually assembled property here, and all these things have a theme. Yes, it does take investment, and frankly, the city council has been very supportive of doing this. And it's nice because we're seeing results, but we did purchase the old Lockerbie property, we did purchase the VP Online property, and we purchased the motorcycle gang clubhouse, or whatever you want to call them. And now there's a 77 unit market rate apartment building going up, and there's also planned for a senior memory care facility on property there, as well as some regional stormwater and some overflow parking for the park we're going to talk about. So what we did first is we had to assemble all the property, and we worked with the owners of Crooked Pine, actually owned the property next to them. It had originally been planned for development, but as the downtown master plan was developed, we realized, there really needs to be a little more green space, open space, recreational space in the downtown. Because again, the idea of bringing more people to live downtown was very deliberate. Because I think when everybody wants a vibrant downtown, and we feel our measure of vibrancy is people. So hey, if we can get them to live there, odds are they might shop there or recreate there or get their entertainment there. So, but we did assemble the properties. We bought the piece from the Crooked Pine owners at the end of December in 2020. So we have now about a 3-acre site. This is just a view of it from the Viaduct Bridge. Then we put together a planning task force. Again, collective of some very key members to run through a whole bunch of different options on layout, on features, held 4 public meetings in 2021. And the end of that is the city council adopted a concept plan, which looked similar to the master plan, but changed a little bit based on the process and the input. It did include some of the key features which are still there, of an open gathering space where there could even be performances on a temporary stage, a splash pad, with the blue area, a main building, which has multi-function. And then probably the most unique feature that was brought into this plan is a skate ribbon or a skate loop. And I'll show a picture of those for those maybe not familiar with it. After that, we then went into schematic design, which is really just taking the concept and further refining it. We did hire a consultant team and then had a number of staff people working with them. After a bunch of work had been done, there was a public open house held down at Buckham West at the senior center. Had actually a really good turnout, I thought. Took input there, had a joint city council park board work session, and took all that and brought that in and adopted this schematic final layout plan, very similar to the concept plan. Just there's more detail known about it, but again, a skate loop and north is to the left in this drawing. Skate loop in the north part, the building kind of centrally located, a splash pad on the south side of the building, and then really just some open space, grass to go either sit, run around, whatever people would like to do. So there are really 4 main components, I guess, to this park. The first one is a multi-purpose building. Okay, and this is again schematic design, so if or when this is built, it won't look exactly like this, but it'll probably look similar to this. But again, just a 1-story building with a bunch of different components. Though in the upper left, that would actually be the warming house area for the skating, for the winter skating. But in the off season, that could also be rented for private parties, just like we rent some rooms now, the Peterson room at the community center. The bottom left portion, that's skate rental and concessions. There's indoor restrooms. The middle space, the way that's designed, it's a large open, almost like a picnic shelter, but can be enclosed in inclement weather. But then it would have, in essence, clear garage doors on both sides that could be opened up when the weather's nice. And then the east side or the right side, that's actually just all the mechanical equipment for the ice loop, for the skating loop and for the splash pad. And the building would look, what the direction's been is, a more traditional look, brick, steel, a little bit of an industrial flair. But we still need to work, like I said, through that. But those are some of the themes, I guess, for the building that we've gravitated towards. Again, probably the most unique feature here, because right now I'm only aware of 1 refrigerated outdoor skating loop in Minnesota at this time. There's some being talked about. The only one I know of that's been use is up in Maple Grove, if anybody wants to go there. They actually have a webcam that one of the TV news channels always shows it, I can't remember which one, but anyway, so this could be the second refrigerated outdoor skating rink in Minnesota. There are a number throughout the country, but actually not that many yet. Again, this seems to be kind of a new, kind of like when pickleball became a big thing and everybody's moving the pickleball courts, this is becoming a little bit more common. Here's an example. This has some similarities in size to the one being programmed for our park. This one's actually out in Bountiful, Utah. The one being programmed in our park is scheduled to be about 620 feet long, with feet around the outside and 14 feet wide. The one in Bountiful, if I recall, is only 12 feet wide. So the one we're looking at will be a couple feet wider, and theirs is, I believe, 540 feet long. So also would be a little bit longer. But that's again what it would happen. And we're targeting, you know, we all know winters, trying to keep outdoor ice, it's a real challenge. So when we went into this, said if we're gonna do this, it's gonna be refrigerated hands down, because we'd like to be open from mid-November, you know, have it available for the Thanksgiving holidays, and then through Christmas, New Year's, and have it open probably roughly till the end of February. It'll be a little weather dependent, but that again is really probably the most unique piece. Second, big item for the park is a splash pad. Again, these are actually very common. A lot of them have been going in. The city's been planning to put one in for a number of years. Never had a location decided. So this is the location that got decided. And what a splash pad is, here's somewhat of an example too. There's no standing water. Okay, so you don't need lifeguards and all that. It's just the water sprays. You can have, some of them have almost like playground type equipment. Again, the task force and all that, and didn't want that. They wanted a more natural looking. So this is again one in obviously Kansas, but where there would be some exposed boulders and just spouting some sprays, maybe lit, but the lighting only will work at night, and we don't know that we do a lot of running at night. So hard to say, but again, that's again another big component would be the splash pad. And then probably the fourth piece is just the overall park itself. Now again, open space, benches, park. So some of these talked about upper top, really, yeah, just a big open grass area where the idea would be to pull in a temporary stage kind of in the corner back by the bottom of the viaduct. And there could be concerts there. We are looking at actually having the bottom left here is called the swing bench, having a number of those around the perimeter that people can sit at. Obviously a lot of landscaping and then some, you know, picnic tables with shades by the splash pad. But again, those are really in the details of those. But so said all this stuff costs a lot of money. These are the estimates from the consultant team on sort of the four big pieces. And you can see the building, roughly $2.5 million, the skate loop roughly $3 million, splash pad just under $500,000, and site improvements $2.2 million. Obviously, those numbers can be adjusted depending upon if we want to change things, and key is their estimates. Until we would ultimately bid this stuff, just like anything, we don't know what it's really going to cost, but we rely on the professionals. So that's what we're looking at right now. For a construction cost. A couple other components of the park that are not in that scope, because we pulled them out and can do them on our own. We are looking, the top picture here, that is, if any of you that use the trail and go under the viaduct bridge, that is the very west face of the abutment there, and we thought it set itself up perfectly to have a series of 5 murals in those window-like areas. And so it'd be something similar. The bottom one, that's either the bridge in Hastings or Winona, I can't remember. But it's something similar, again, under the picture. And I mean, murals, you can spend less, more, but we just are figuring about 100,000 for that. And then the other piece, is actually, I'm sure a few of you have seen it, actually lighting the viaduct bridge. We have actually a pretty good quote to do that now for about $275,000. So just think that would be a really nice, somebody's driving through town or in the park, or whatnot, to have that as the backdrop. And with the technology nowadays with LED lighting, you can make them dance, you can change the colors, all sorts of things. So our next steps, is really, we need to continue on, and, you know, we have one councilman here, they've been supportive of continuing on. You know, part of it is, yeah, we all know these things cost money, but again, their quality of life, you know, we constantly get people clamoring that there's nothing for the kids to do. Well, and we all know there is, okay, but, you know, there's just things in this part. I think the couple of the driving factors when we first met, and first started talking about it was for all ages and for all seasons, okay? And I think what we've got will certainly accomplish those things. It will certainly serve the downtown area, the residents there, but, you know, especially if we get the skate loop, we firmly believe this will draw in people from all over. I was here years ago when we first built the aquatic center, okay? We were the first one in this area. Northfield didn't have one, Owatonna didn't have one, Waseca didn't have one, and everybody came here when we opened ours. Now I would expect, you know, there may be other skating loops in the future, but, we again could potentially be the first. But we need to now advance, get the final plans and specs, design development. And then probably the biggest challenge for me is coming up with how we fund this part, because believe it or not, there isn't just $8.2 million sitting unaccounted for in a slush fund that the city maintains. So, but we have a number of options, that we are looking at. I actually have been working with Senator Jasinski even to get a piece of that big $17.5 billion surplus, right? Everybody else is asking, I thought we might as well too. But best case, if we can get it all funded, we could optimistically start construction late this fall. That may be optimistic, but that's what we're at least trying to shoot for. And then the skating loop would actually be the first of the two big things to open, next December, next winter of, December 24, I would say. I want to say next winter, but, that's actually the following winter. So, and then the splash pad would actually not open until the following summer because it wouldn't be ready till October, November, and we're not obviously going to open a water feature in October and November. So, again, I've been, well, really driving this from day one. There's obviously been a number of other staff involved, we have consultants involved, but, you know, I see this as again, from what you saw early on, this is one piece, but I think it's a really big piece, for the downtown that will really change, how the downtown is used, and make it more attractive for people to come here and actually live there as well, if you want to happen. You know, the other exciting thing, I'm sure most of you know, there's an investment group that purchased a portfolio of 13 buildings downtown, and they are also planning to do some significant investment to upgrade all of those buildings. So, like I said, it's been very positive at this point, and we're just really trying to keep things going. So, I guess with that, yeah, you got any questions that you might have on this, or feel free to ask me anything else you want about the city. If I know, I'll answer it, but otherwise, I'll take that.
So there's a summit at the chamber next week at probably for the downtown businesses, right? And one of the things on the docket is talking about snow removal stuff for the downtown businesses. How does the city feel about that? Just as somebody who's obviously down there, it's a major pain, and it's especially somebody with 3 sides on their building and sidewalks. How does the city feel about that?
Well, we've actually had the discussion before. We've talked about it, and I know, and I'm invited to the meeting. You know, what has been talked about in the past, and what's actually, I believe, on the agenda is the creation, it's called a special service district. And what that is all the properties in that district pay a little extra in their tax bill, but they get extra services for that. And I think the 2 on the agenda were snow removal and garbage pickup, you know, doing more centralized. Rather than everybody doing their own thing, why don't we just have, you know, a dumpster location in each block? So, we'll see if it goes further. We went through all this in about 2010 or so, and it just didn't get legs. I mean, there just weren't enough properties that were interested in doing it. Potentially with some of the ownership changes, I would say I expect it to be more likely to happen. You know, we've talked about it, and from the city perspective, yes, if the city would do it, or even the city would contract, you know, sidewalk and private alley and all that snow removal, it would be more efficient for our efforts, you know, because for those of you downtown, You know, we plow it out, people shovel their sidewalks off, we pull it into the middle, and then we pick it up, you know, with really big snow blowers, but. You know, depending upon the property, depending upon the owner, they might do their sidewalk, you know, 3 hours after the city's done. So we then have to make an extra trip back there, so, not speak for the city council, but, you know, we've talked it through and we do see benefit in trying to, consolidate some of those efforts. It would make it just more efficient.
Jim, I'm not hearing well, it's just may have been covered, but, would you be getting money from grants? Or does the city have bonding power?
Yes, we have bonding power, and that's actually a piece of the funding. We do actually have a revenue stream that we can use. My goal here would be to fund this park and not have to raise taxes specifically to fund debt service or the cost of it, okay? Ideally. There are grant opportunities which we are seeking out, we will be applying for. Grants for parks seem to be about the most competitive of all. The biggest chunk, I guess, we're probably going after is, again, through the state bonding bill or even a direct appropriation. And Senator Jasinski's office, I mean, he will carry the bill. But again, you're competing with projects from all over the state of Minnesota. We will look at ultimately 2 private donations, you know, if there's an appetite there. I personally struggle with that sometimes as a city or as a government employee, because I've told people, I said, well, the city fundraises every May and October when we pay first and second half, right? But again, I think there are a lot of, I mean, Faribault's been very fortunate. There have been a lot of people willing to donate a lot of money to make the community better, and we're certainly open to that, so.
Yeah, well, another thing too is this is an ideal thing for families to have some weekend, place to go that doesn't cost much money.
No, the plan is, we already talked about this, actually, I didn't touch it, but the plan is obviously, there's no charge to use the splash pad or to skate on the skate. Okay, now, rental skates, yes, we would charge for rental skates. But no, the idea here is we wouldn't charge for using these, in part because, well, let's give kids or even adults, I mean, I'd go skate there and I'm not a kid, obviously. But it, you know, let's give them something for the taxes they do pay. It's also, quite honestly though, it's hard to monitor who paid, what do you have, you know, bracelets, and because most people that use the skate loops or even the splash pad, they're only there an hour. You know, it's not an activity, like maybe at the aquatic center where you hang out the whole afternoon. So that's what we talked about, is it would be free unless you need to rent skates, which I know a lot of people, a lot of adults or kids don't have skates, but hopefully we'll get them interested and maybe they go buy a pair of skates, you know, Ace or whatever, so. All right, I know there was a question way in the back. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I was just asking, in your dealings with the consultants and stuff like that, has there been any mention, on how to activate the space? Just building it isn't necessarily enough, but how about activating it or how, teaching the city how to use the space? I've sat down with some civic planners and some other cities I've been stationed at, and they've said that it has been instances in the past where they've built parks, they've built public things, and they haven't activated it, so that the intended purpose just devolves.
We have talked actually with the consultant teams. There are obviously not blanket, but they do have entities or people on staff that actually do help with the operational side of things, and they will provide that. Our Parks and Rec department will actually operate. You know, just like they operate the community center, just like they operate the aquatic center, they're the ones that actually run the open skates at the ice arena. So we actually have people on staff that do know how to program and operate recreational facilities. Again, this full disclosure, though, this is not replacing something in our park and recreational system. This is adding something. So this year we already added a part-time maintenance person, because as our system grows, you know what, we're gonna have to add some staffing. So we would expect there to be probably one permanent, because we are gonna need somebody. I mean, the mechanical system, you can't just hire, no, sorry, I'll phrase it, you can't just hire a high school kid in the summer, you know, to run the pumps and check the chemicals, whatever, for the splash pad. You certainly don't want them driving the, you know, whether it's a Zamboni or an Olympia in the winter either. So, but no, that's, the Parks and Rec will actually operate it. But yeah, we've had discussions already on programs, and they've been, some of the staff we have there have been actually pretty creative in coming up with new programs. A lot of times it's from their previous jobs. Hey, we did this program here at Recreation. So I think they see, even in the summertime use of the skate loop, there's, and honestly, you don't have to create everything. You visit some of the other ones. Hey, what are your uses in the summer? I've seen, it's actually not a skate loop, it's just an outdoor skating rink in downtown Aspen. In the summertime, they actually have their sectional pieces that are, you know, made out of wood, plywood, and it's a mini golf course. They pull them out, they put them together. Obviously, the parent one is rollerblading. You know, that certainly works too. It'll be concrete, refrigerated, but in the summertime, and even other places have had like art fairs where, you know, because there's the pond area on the one end, but then you literally have a whole walk around where everybody could have exhibits set up. So we've already had those discussions, but I don't want to say they're not important. At this time, we're trying to get it built. So, but no, it's a good point, and we know that, yes, we want to maximize the use, you know, 12 months out of the year. Yeah, well, again, thank you for the invite, and if you do have any more questions, please reach out. And if you're involved in any other groups or whatever, I'd be more than happy to come and share the information. Like I said, I've been really invested in this project. Our Parks and Rec director, probably be a more typical one, but he's actually working on a new community center, you know, love it or hate it. We are talking about it, again, with that idea of how can we make Faribault a more attractive place to, you know, live and work and whatnot. The housing piece will hopefully follow too, but so that's why I've really been, in some of my background from a former life, I actually did some of these things. So, but again, no, thanks again for the invite. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kim. That was so much fun to see it. You know, see the visual of the park, where I was like, man, that would be such a fun place to visit. So I love that. All right, well, thank you all so much for joining me and sharing in this positivity and optimism about the approaching springtime. Thank you all for being amazing. Go out there, be kind, and we'll see you next one.
Welcome.
Aggregating here.